Welcome to Bloomington Today. I'm Kaylin Cockriel. Thanks for joining us. The city is inviting residents to explore the many cultures of the world right here in Bloomington by taking part in the 4th annual Global Celebration. Listen to traditional music, taste ethnic foods, see native crafts, and explore various other worldly customs on Saturday, June 25th from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at Civic Plaza. This free event has something for everyone. Human Services Administrative Coordinator Tracy Smith says the entertainers come from all over, representing their countries through unique performances.
They represent Russia, they represent African countries, Middle Eastern countries, Asian countries. Some of them are singing, some of them are dancing, some of them are playing instruments, some are in taekwondo, board breaking demonstration. And because of the nature of the music and the various entertainers, it really appeals to everyone in the whole family, whether it's young kids or grandma and grandpa.
The global celebration coincides with the Bloomington Farmers Market and has brought more than 2,000 people together between the two events. And while this season's first farmers market has come and gone, the city wants to encourage more residents to get out and enjoy the many perks the market has to offer. The Bloomington Farmers Market meets every Saturday until October 15th from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. in Civic Plaza's East parking lot. It's here that growers, producers, and farmers sell their own products directly to the public. Whether it's cheese, produce, flowers, or kettle corn, residents are given the unique opportunity to have direct contact with the person growing or making those items. New this year, credit cards and EBT are accepted. Stop by the information booth, swipe your card, and receive tokens to spend on fresh produce. There are more than 40 vendors each week at the market, and it also features music, entertainment, and educational activities, fun for the whole family. Who needs another great summer incentive to get outdoors and get active? Starting now, residents of Hennepin County have yet another reason through the Get Out, Get Active incentive program. The incentive program is divided into 3 sessions with 8 to 9 activities each. It is designed to get residents outdoors to explore great parks, trails, and other activities. If residents take part in 5 of those 8 or 9 activities each session, they can turn in a participation card to be entered into a drawing for a 3 Rivers Park District activity pass, up to $150 in value. Here's an example of one of the active living guides. Various outdoor activities like swimming or skateboarding are listed, and then also what park you can find those activities in. And then on the very last page, there are participation cards. You can fill those out with your personal information and either mail those in or drop them off at one of the many designated sites around Hennepin County. For a complete list of where to get your card, facility hours, and drop-off sites, visit www.hennepin.us/active-living. A few weeks ago on Bloomington Today, we brought you news of a major trail restoration project getting underway around Bush Lake. Today, we'll check back on the progress of that trail revamp to find out when it will be ready for you and your family. This was the scene at the Highland Bush Anderson Lakes Park Reserve back in late April. The existing trails are primarily on the west side of Bush Lake, with wood chip trails on the southeast tip. With this reconstruction, the wood chip trail will become a paved surface. Trees will be realigned and the old trail surface will be replaced. Crews were out the second week of June grading the unpaved section of the trail just off of East Bush Lake Road. As we continued along the trails, we're happy to announce much of the paving is already done. There's some tree realignment yet to be completed, and the wood chip trails are not yet paved. City engineers are optimistic that the restoration project will be finished by July 4th, the date they originally set for completion, but heavy rainfall in May delayed the work some. But contractors are making good time on the big trail project. The city's overall goal is to eventually create paved trails, allowing residents to travel the entire circumference around Bush Lake. That will hopefully happen sometime in the future. In just a few minutes, we'll have 2 Minnesota Valley Trail advocates stop into the studio. hoping to educate and spark some renewed interest in finishing the Minnesota Valley Trail. Before that happens, here's some background on that trail. The Minnesota Valley Trail runs along the Minnesota River, starting at Fort Snelling and running through Belle Plaine. It's not a complete trail though, and the biggest gap is right in our backyard.
There are portions of the trail that exist in certain communities. There are a lot of gaps, and perhaps one of the largest gaps is right here in Bloomington. We do not have an official state trail, but we're working towards creating one because we could see that just being an incredible amenity for our community.
The current trails through Bloomington are natural trails, not maintained, paved, or funded by the state. And the little access there is was limited even further in 2002 when the Cedar Avenue Bridge closed. Qualley says finding state funding for the trail will benefit Bloomington in many ways.
There's been a renewed interest in just health in general and especially in trails. The city in recent years has conducted surveys, and perhaps the number one amenity that people have identified for parks is trails. And we really want to make that happen here in Bloomington along the river. It's an incredible, incredible resource, amazing vistas. It's an amazing piece of property that we have.
Now that we've got some background on the Minnesota Valley Trail, we'll take a short break. Then when we come back, we're joined by two trail advocates to discuss what is being called the missing link through Bloomington. Stay with us.
Hi, I'm Chevy Checker. A new twist in the law makes it easier than ever to save on your Medicare prescription drug plan costs. So what are you waiting for? Go to socialsecurity.gov and apply for extra help. It's easier than learning the twist.
My name's Brandon. I'm 9 years old, being alcoholic.
Hi, Brandon.
I'll start drinking with the older kids. And whatever they do, I'll do.
Kids who drink before age 15 are 5 times more likely to have alcohol problems when they're adults. So start talking before they start drinking.
I know I'll start with alcohol. I'm just not sure how it's gonna end.
What is your problem, man? All right, what's going on here, fellas?
The missile was about to hit the school.
That doesn't change the fact that I don't have a car anymore. Who just throws a person's car at a missile?
You're serious?
Yeah, who's gonna pay for my car?
Welcome back, everyone. We are now joined by Minnesota Trail advocates Ed Crozier, who was the first manager of the Minnesota Valley National Wildlife Refuge, and Dick Dury, a good friend of Ed's and a wildlife advocate and conservation advocate as well. Welcome, gentlemen. Thanks for being here today.
Thank you.
Well, for years, the unimproved trail along the Minnesota River has provided outdoor recreation, tourist attraction, hikers, bikers for families, anyone. But the trail has a missing link that keeps it from connecting from the start in Fort Snelling down to Belle Plaine. Tell us a bit about what's missing.
Well, the trail was built many years ago and authorized by the state, but there was never, that portion between Fort Snelling State Park and the Bloomington Ferry Bridge was never developed and never funded, and therefore it is in an unimproved condition, although people do use it as for biking and hiking. But it really does need to be improved like the rest of the trail, so that we'll have a full-length trail from Fort Snelling to Belle Plaine, and eventually it's authorized all the way to South Dakota.
Tell me a bit, Dick, why what could be the eventual end of the Minnesota Valley Trail keeps moving beyond Belle Plaine even.
It could be extended to the South Dakota border and follow the river valley all the way across Minnesota, east to west or west to east. And people could get on a bicycle and go to South Dakota if we get this trail completed. And the legislature at one point had that in mind and authorized that, but they didn't follow up and nothing happened from that. Okay. What we're trying to do is get a start on it, get the missing link in the metro area connected, and that will drive the rest of the trail, I expect, over the years to come. We can complete the rest of it then.
Okay. Tell us a bit about what the condition, I know we're calling it unimproved trail. What is the condition of the trail?
Well, there's a portion in the Minnesota Valley National Wildlife Refuge from the Visitor Center in East Bloomington that is graveled all the way to the Cedar Avenue. And then from that point on to Lindale Avenue, it's just a soft trail with, it can get muddy at times. Okay. And then it continues on to the Bloomington Ferry Bridge in that same condition. Okay. It is a very popular mountain bike area, starting at the Bloomington Ferry Bridge and coming east. So there is a fair amount of use, but people can't push, you know, buggies, or some of the bikes cannot use it too.
Yeah.
It's not handicapped accessible in any sense.
Okay. Okay. Well, I understand that one very important connection to the missing link is the old Cedar Avenue Bridge, which closed in 2002 to all traffic, even pedestrians. Tell us a bit about why that bridge closed, but in turn why making the connection, whether it's through that bridge or another way, over Longmeadow Lake is so important.
Well, the bridge was, I believe, condemned because it was unsafe, even for pedestrian travel. For a long time it was closed to vehicular travel, but was open for pedestrians. But then they even closed it to that. And there has been some money available for restoring it, but there is a slight controversy about whether it should be renovated in a historical sense or replaced, because it's so expensive to renovate it or keep it historically preserved and maintained for a long time. Mm-hmm. But it is a critical link between, say, the Mall of America and the river. But the Minnesota Valley Trail can be built without it, or the bridge could be replaced without the trail. They kind of interact with each other, but they're not necessary for each other. Okay. But the Longmeadow Lake crossing, or the old Cedar Avenue Bridge, is very important, so there's access across the lake.
Why is the missing link to the Minnesota Valley Trail, and why is connecting it so important? Who stands to benefit from this?
The whole population of the metro area could use this trail. It can be linked up through light rail transit. People even from North Minneapolis could put a bicycle on a light rail transit carrier, take it out to the Mall of America, get on their bike and start riding down the trail and go into Bloomington, or go along the river to anywhere, make a link. If we eventually finish the whole thing, they could go to Mankato, stay overnight, do some shopping, do what people do at Lanesboro, which most people are now familiar with. It's been a great economic benefit to Lanesboro. This trail could be used the same way. That's off in the future. Right now, if we link up the metro area between Fort Snelling and the Bloomington Ferry Bridge, we'll have achieved an awful lot, and it'll tie in with trails that are already on the ground but dead end at the river valley.
We did bring a map which you can show, but it shows in green all of the city and county trails, and then in red it shows the missing link trail, and it's very obvious that is a critical link up and down the river and across the river. And so, and it's most important, I think, for Bloomington residents, because they're going to be living right beside it. But like Dick says, there's also 3 million people that can access it too. The other point I'd like to make is that the valley, or the trail, goes through the Minnesota Valley National Wildlife Refuge. So it is really, truly a wildland trail. And there's no other place in the United States where a wildland trail like that is in such close proximity to 3 million people. Absolutely. So it's very special. And so the city of Bloomington ought to take advantage of that.
Absolutely. Well, the process of restoring this missing link to the trail began decades ago. Why is it taking so long to kind of make the moves towards restoring the link?
Well, that's a good question. It may be a little bureaucratic because the trail for many years was in the State Park Division, and obviously they had higher priorities for parks. And if it had been in parks and water or trails and waterway, we might have had the trail, but that wasn't the case. And so the state has never put the emphasis on this particular trail, and primarily because there's been no constituency for it, nobody really strongly advocating for it. And that's what we're now trying to do and to build up support for it.
Okay. One thing that you had mentioned earlier, Ed, is that there is this huge chunk of natural habitat that is literally right in our backyards,
That's
in
right.
the backyards of the Mall of America, in the backyards of this busy metropolitan city. Tell us a bit about what a lot of residents may not even know is there.
Well, if you would, it's just a bountiful wildlife area. There's several eagle nests, there's a heron rookery nest, all kinds of wild creatures, plus beautiful landscapes. And if someone were to view our YouTube video, they would see many wonderful scenes of wildlife and the landscapes taken by Dr. Scott Sharkey, who is a fantastic nature photographer who lives in West Bloomington. And there's some great scenes there. But thousands of people cross the river valley every day on the bridges, and they have no concept of what they're crossing or really even think about it. And we believe that if we can get this trail, people will develop a greater appreciation for the valley and the river itself, which will in turn help build support for cleaning it up and cleaning up Lake Pepin and ultimately the Gulf of Mexico.
Okay. And Dick, why don't you let us know what the next step is now for the trail? We're trying to gain momentum, spark some interest, kind of bring awareness to the trail as a whole, the missing link, I should say, of that trail. What's the next step?
Well, we're trying to build public support for this idea and have it mushroom up towards St. Paul and eventually be approved by the legislature and the governor and the DNR commissioner. But we're quite a way away from that. We're at the bottom of that stairway right now, and the citizens of Bloomington and the Bloomington city government and the management at the Fish and Wildlife Service National Refuge are key players. They can show that there's public support. We've already received petitions or signatures from about 100 people, most of them Bloomington residents, that have heard of this and say, yeah, this is a good idea, which should be done. And we feel that the next step is to get more people involved and show that there is a groundswell of support for this project, and then get it built. Okay.
Go on with it. Okay. Well, we'd like to thank Ed Crozier and Dick Dury for being here today with us. If you'd like some more information on the Missing Link Trail that we talked about today, go to YouTube and search Minnesota Valley Missing Link, and that'll pull up an informational video about the things that we touched on here today. It's now time for a short break. We'll be right back.
Every day is a brand new journey of discovery for your baby. And when that journey is by car, the latch system will help keep them safe. Anchor, tether, latch. It's easier and makes your car seat secure. So your baby's journeys will be safe and sure. To learn more, visit safercar.gov.
When I have an asthma attack, I feel scared. Sometimes my parents have to take me to the hospital. I feel like a fish with no water.
You know how to react to their asthma attacks. Here's how to prevent them. Call 1-866-NO-ATTACKS. Visit www.noattacks.org or call your doctor. Because even one attack is one too many.
Welcome back to Bloomington Today. The City of Bloomington's website is being recognized on a national level after our site was one of the few choice cities illustrated in the American Planning Association's, or APA's, e-government publication. One illustration used in the publication shows the city's index page and highlights the importance of meeting the needs of as many members of the community as possible by providing websites in multiple languages. The APA says the feature is good customer service to all members of the community. Also featured is Bloomington's webcast page, specifically the streaming capabilities of the City Council meetings. American Planning Association describes how Bloomington features a webcast page that utilizes Microsoft Silverlight and Windows Media Player to allow people to stream live video for community meetings they are unable to attend. All of Bloomington's televised productions, including Bloomington Today, Roll Call, and special events, are available in the city's webcast section of the website, or you can find those on YouTube, accessible right from the city's homepage. Well, that's all the time we have for today. To get more information on city projects, parks, road construction, and events, visit the city's website. To check out past Bloomington Today shows or other city productions, visit Bloomington's YouTube channel, accessible right from the city's homepage. That and so much more is online right now at www.ci.bloomington.mn.us. If Facebook or Twitter isn't your thing, sign up for eSubscribe to have updates sent right to your email or cell phone. This is Bloomington Today, a presentation of the City of Bloomington's Communications Division. I'm Kaylin Cockriel. Thanks so much for joining us.